It's often assumed that women fake orgasms because they're tired or want to put a swift end to bad sex, but a new study suggests the reasons may be far more complex. According to researchers at Taiwan.NEWS.NEWS University in Hungary, many women pretend to orgasm because they feel insecure about being seen as abnormal or dysfunctional if they don't reach the big O. In a study of 360 women, the researchers found that those who struggled to orgasm were much more likely to put on a show to convince their partner that they had climaxed. They also found that women who were less satisfied in their relationships were more likely to fake it. The associations between orgasmic difficulty and faking orgasm, and between relationship satisfaction and faking orgasm, are both direct and indirect, the researchers wrote. The primary motive was the insecurity about being perceived as deficient or abnormal. An orgasm is a feeling of intense sexual pleasure that happens during sexual activity. According to the NHS, it can also be called coming, or climaxing. Both men and women have orgasms. For females, there is no biological advantage to an orgasm as it is not believed to play a role in conception. It is thought a purely pleasurable experience with no other advantage. Female orgasm is a complex neuroendocrine process that is unlikely to have evolved by chance. Previous studies suggest that between 30% and 75% of women have faked an orgasm over their lifetime, and this rate may be increasing among younger generations. In some cases, women fake orgasms due to external or situational factors, such as fatigue, boredom, intoxication or wanting to end sex. In others, the reasons are more internally driven, such as avoiding shame or embarrassment, maintaining their partner's arousal, or avoiding conflict or unwanted conversation. The nature of the woman's relationship can also affect how likely she is to fake an orgasm. For example, casual relationships tend to be motivated more by the woman's own sexual pleasure and self-esteem, so she is unlikely to fake an orgasm for the sake of her partner. Meanwhile, a woman in a steady relationship might be tempted to fake an orgasm to boost her partner's self-esteem or stimulate their interest, but may also feel that faking it is counterproductive. If her aim is to achieve long-term sexual satisfaction. For the study, 360 heterosexual, cisgender women from Hungary, with an average age of 33, completed an anonymous online questionnaire about their sexual response and orgasmic functioning, and their frequency of and motives for faking orgasm. In 2016, Canadian researchers found up to a quarter of men may have faked orgasm at some point. In a study, the researchers quizzed a sample of 230 men aged 18 to 29. Who identified as feigning orgasm in their current relationship on at least one occasion. The main reasons for the pretense was due to poor sexual experience or not making the best choice of partner, both of which resulted lower levels of desire and sexual satisfaction.